I think fight fans want to know first and foremost, sir, when will we see you in professional mixed martial arts?
You know something, I've been training really hard with Jake Hager down in Tampa, Florida, and unfortunately I've had a second-degree sprained ankle injury, and it's taken about 6 weeks to heal. And people I posted the picture on Twitter, hopefully that you can post that picture while we're speaking. And I actually broke a bone in my foot too while it happened. I was shooting in on him with a penetration knee step, which I actually don't usually do because I don't wrestle with guys taller than me. And he just sprawled in and I rolled over my ankle and I heard it pop a few times. But like I said, I just stubbed my toe and I'm gonna keep going. But sprained ankles take forever to heal, and this has been really annoying. And fans will probably, hopefully appreciate this, but I wrestled with Filthy Tom Lawler in the Bloodsport match 1 week after that match happened, and I had to pretty much tape my foot up like a mummy, and it really hurt the next day, but you know, you gotta suck it up sometimes. But I haven't been, I've been just only doing mitt work so far, but I would like to train and hopefully have a fight before the end of the year or into next year. Just, it was a hiccup that happened, and unfortunately I missed out on the fight camp with Jake, but he's looking awesome. I can't see him losing this coming weekend. I think he's gonna win, unless he's just unlucky. He's looking great. So,
speak to us about you've had an interesting career and you've evolved your game on various different levels.
Yeah.
Speak to us as the philosophical sort of driving factors in your evolution as a professional wrestler, because obviously your submission wrestling is just outstanding. You know, we've seen you put on and move extremely fluidly and flow naturally like a submission wrestler, like a catch wrestler. Give us the kind of philosophical evolution of your game.
well, you know, I like to...
Both in terms of the training, the conditioning,
Yes.
and both the techniques.
You know, I like to follow a lot of Carl Gotch's philosophies, and that is you have to always strive for perfection. And I like to think of submission wrestling as being like a language, and you can always strive for perfection, but you know, you won't always get there. But as long as you keep, because you know, once you think that you know everything, you don't, and once you think you know everything, you're done. And there's always ways to improve yourself. I like to think of what really motivates me, and what I like to do is a philosophy in Japan called Kaizen. And as long as we are making little improvements every day, as long as they're incremental and there's some improvement, we're going somewhere. So that always is in the back of my mind, but I always try to strive for perfection. And I started training with a guy down in Tampa, Florida named George King, who I had a match with in WWE SmackDown years and years ago. But he's introduced me to a whole other level of conditioning and training. And I've been doing that since my ankle's been, you know, kept me out of training, like sparring wise anyway. But we've been doing a lot of mitt work, a lot of pad work. So I like to treat professional wrestling, and I like to think of myself as a hybrid, high-level athlete. And that kind of strives me, and that kind of, as long as I wake up knowing that I've done my best and I'm training harder than the next guy next to me, that always keeps you motivated and keeps you moving. And guys like Minoru Suzuki, they've always inspired me. You know, him and Masakatsu Funaki, these guys are, you know, 50 years old,
right,
and they're still in great shape. Jushin Thunder Liger, Yuji Nagata. So as long as you're keeping active with things and training in the gym every day, because once you stop and you're stagnant, then that's when you start to go down. So I don't know if that answers your question.
I think it does. And put it in context in terms of the broader sort of disruption that's happening within professional wrestling. By that I mean the emergence of this extremely popular, you know, mixed martial arts, you know, catch wrestling, submission wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, blah, blah, blah. The merger of that is creating a variety of different fans, right?
Yes.
Who tap into the sport and see these pro wrestlers crossing into mixed martial arts and vice versa. Like from your vantage point, because you sit at a very interesting situation where you could see it and right about it in different ways. How do you interpret the merger of, because it's come full circle, has it not? Mm-hmm. So speak to us about that, because I think that's sort of history that's not really fully grasped, at least maybe not in the Americas, maybe in Japan and other sort of territories where they value these traditional martial arts and in relation to pro wrestling and in how it's all interconnected.
Well, you know, I gotta say one thing is thanks for YouTube, honestly, because fans have, you know, because of the rise of mixed martial arts and guys venturing into it like Brock Lesnar and guys coming out of it like Cain Velasquez and Ronda Rousey. So the fans have started to learn the history about Helio Gracie going to Japan and challenging Masa Kimura and the rise of Ricky Dozan, and they're starting to learn all that because of YouTube. And so in a way, I got to thank YouTube for being able to offer sort of a free encyclopedia to fans worldwide. And you know what? And because of that, fans are getting smarter to seeing a lot of different high-level techniques. And I mean, you could go on YouTube right now and search in like 50 different ways how to counter a kata-katame, or you know, or a straight arm bar, or anything, you know. So that kind of knowledge is available. So I have to thank YouTube for that. And yeah, I mean, I think that it's great. I mean, there's guys that are spreading the love of jiu-jitsu, which is great, and I'd like to see that the love of catch wrestling spread as well, and that's what I'm here for. And guys like Josh Barnett and anybody that's not caught the last Bloodsport event, myself and Filthy Tom Lawler had a really, really awesome match. We integrated some pro wrestling moves into it, and it was really, really awesome. And I think that what was really awesome about it that I liked was that we both looked like we were in an athletic competition where we were both actually trying to win, instead of just we're trying to get ourselves over. We're actually trying to win this thing.
How important is that? How important?
Big time important, huge. I mean, there's times when we can have a gymnastics contest out there, and then that's what they're for. I mean, you have to appreciate and respect all different fans.
Sure.
And they're different ones, but I think that is missing when, you know, even though Dynamite Kid and Tiger Mask, they did a lot of fancy stuff, but there was that urgency where it looked like they were both trying to win. Like when at the very end of their match, like when they were both trying to do the German suplex and they were spinning, it looked like they had intent that they were trying to win, and finally when Tiger Mask hit it on him, he won the match. So that's an important thing that fans should tap into, is that we want to create that subtle realism, you know.
And I think fans expect that, because, you know, a combat sports fan, if you follow mixed martial arts and pro wrestling, you expect that hyper realism, that sense of urgency, and that intent and willingness to win. What's it like being under the tutelage of Josh Barnett, of course, who's a legend in the sport of mixed martial arts, as well as professional wrestling and catch wrestling? Oh,
it's been amazing. Josh has been one of my favorite coaches. He's
how would you describe him as a coach? Well, what keywords would you use?
Well, I'll say this much: he's tough. He's tough, and you know, a lot of people actually don't like sparring with Josh because he goes hard and he'll go after your legs hard. I mean, going back to ankle injuries, I remember one time he heeled hooked me and I just didn't tap in time, but luckily I didn't get too hurt. But a lot of people, they showed up to train with him for a few days and then they never came back because he does go hard and he's rough. But if you want to be the best, you know, you need that. You know, it's not. I mean, and then there's good guys that'll teach you flow roll with jiu-jitsu, but Josh, he'll be rough on you. He'll cross face you, but he will, if you're serious about it, get you in the best shape that you possibly can get into and make you the best that you can be. And I think what Josh is really great at is that he's able to see attributes in people and be able to work on those in the gym and make those count during fights, you know. Although Bob Sapp did lose to Nogueira in their Pride fight, he showed a great fight, he showed a great showing. I mean that pile driver alone. That was Josh's idea, you know.
Really?
Yeah, he told him, he said, mark my words, Nogueira's going to shoot in on you. He wants to get this to the ground right away.
Wow.
And Nogueira was great at it because when he would shoot, guys would sprawl, and then they would usually overhook with this arm, and he hit like that kind of that sit-out fireman's carry. He was doing it to everyone in rings, and then when he'd hit him out, it was done. And he said, you know what? He said, I mean, Bob, you're big, you can powerbomb him. He said, pick him up, and hey, look what he did. He used his power. Hey, you know what? Had he been learning how to do triangle chokes for a fight camp and went into that fight, he may have not known what he was doing and lost it sooner, but he did a good job. He did awesome. And Nogueira was the man at that time. He was awesome. So that's just an example to show you and Josh when he trained Shinsuke Nakamura for his second fight with Alexei Ignashov. Nakamura, he smoked him pretty good and beat him, you know, and Nakamura was coming off a pretty devastating loss from a knee from Ignashov. So Josh was able to push Nakamura, but also Josh, not only that, which is great, but he's also has a great mind for professional wrestling as well. And a lot of people probably don't know that or respect it, but he's cerebrally very, very intelligent. He's good with game plans, you know, so I have a lot of respect for him. And he's wanting me to come out full-time to LA, which I'm kind of working on. It's hard to do back and forth, but the more time you can spend with Josh Barnett in the training room, if you're wanting to be a pro wrestler or a fighter, either one, the better off you're going to be, trust me.
And it's fascinating because he had such longevity as a heavyweight in mixed martial arts, but as well as his influence in pro wrestling is massive in Japan as well as in the Americas. What are your thoughts on Cain Velasquez and his transition now into professional wrestling in relation to Brock Lesnar? What do you think of that?
I think that it's cool. I don't know. I haven't. I mean, other than the two promos that they've done and the run-in, I haven't seen what Cain's like in the ring. I think that it's a good idea, and there's a good story behind it that's legitimate, and it'll just. I'm not sure how much Cain has been. I'm sure that they'll prepare him very well, and they'll have everything down, synchronized, and really good for him for the match. But I haven't seen him what he's like in the ring as a pro wrestler, or how he's going to be able to integrate that, because some people are great at it and they get it, and some people they don't. And that all depends on how much Cain actually likes the business, you know.
Allegedly, he likes it. I mean, in interviews, he's fully bought into it. But do you think it's too premature?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't give you that answer because I haven't seen him. But you know, the good thing is, like, Ronda Rousey's done a really good transition. But you know, growing up, she said she was a huge fan of Roddy Piper. So there's passion there. But it's all about, you know, how much the person really loves the business. You know. Do you think Nathan Jones really loved the business? No. You know, do you think he had any idea what he was doing out there? No, but so then look where he went. I mean, he got his opportunity, but he moved on. So, passion will take you to a lot of places, like Mick Foley, for instance. Although he wasn't the world's greatest athlete and was probably told a lot of times, you know, went against the odds, but he was able to connect with the crowd and he had passion for the business. And look where he went in the business. And he's an example. So it's a lot of it has to do with passion, you know.
So, what do you think of Tyson Fury and his little pro wrestling transition?
Again,
his transition into pro wrestling.
I think it's great. Like, I don't know if these matches are just one-offs, like Chuck Webner versus Andre the Giant, and you know, Butterbean versus Mark Merrow or whatever. But I don't know. He's got a great look. He cut a good promo. Actually, he can talk pretty good.
Big time.
Really, really can talk pretty good. So he's got that going for him. And like I said, if he likes the business and has passion for it, and he's got the machine behind him, I can't see how he won't be successful, but I don't know. I just have to wait and see how he does in the ring. So,
what are your thoughts on AEW and its current, you know, impact that it's had generally in terms of disrupting?
Well, it hasn't surprised me because it's a new thing on television, which is fans are gonna naturally draw towards that. I've been watching some of it. There's been some good and some, you know, so-so. But I think that what they're doing is good. Like I had mentioned before about big guys, not like they brought in Jake Hager. which is cool because they do need big guys, and that's what I've been kind of saying all along. And I would like to be a part of MLW. My only
AEW or
AEW. I think that would be perfect, but I'm just kind of waiting that out to see. And I'm curious to see how things are. Is there going to be a ratings war? Is AEW going to smoke NXT for 86 weeks in a row like WCW did Nitro? I'm curious. I'm just kind of waiting it out and seeing it. So yeah.
Do you follow international judo? And I asked that because I remember seeing a tweet a while ago. I think you were at a dojo somewhere in Alberta. And I think IJF, International Judo Federation, tweeted you in a gi. So do you train judo? Or
you know what? I've trained a little bit in judo. I've done a lot of jiu-jitsu, mostly no gi, but I did do a little bit in the gi. And they loved it. I mean, it was really cool to go down to there in Calgary. And I think they were pretty impressed with my strength. But I haven't done a whole lot of throws in the gi, but it's almost like judo's almost like wrestling with the jacket on. It's the same kind of footwork, and I think judo's a great sport. And if I had more time to commit to doing that, I just don't, because for what I do, it's and also that now that I'm not in Calgary, there's not a whole lot, which is too bad nowadays. There's not a whole lot of judo schools like that just focus on that.
Yeah.
But my coach back home in Calgary, Brian Bird, he was doing a couple judo classes a week. But it was just hard because there's so many different other classes. You got kickboxing, wrestling, boxing. Judo's a great sport though. But I would love to train more at it if I had time. But Santino Morel is a good friend of mine.
He was in blood sport.
Yeah. And he's a high-level judo competitor, And bad news, Alan, he was a guy I had a lot of respect for. He was a great judoka as well. So.
First ever, I believe, American gold medalist in judo in the men's heavyweight.
Yeah, Pan Am?
Yes, Pan Am and the Olympics in Montreal. Montreal, yeah. 72 Olympics?
Something like that.
Something like that, right?
72 or 76. Yeah.
Now, do you speak Japanese?
Hai, skoshi desu.
Does that mean a little?
Yeah, hai.
Okay. Do you miss Japan? I know...
Anata wa Nihongo hanashimasu ka? I just said it, and do you speak Japanese too?
Poquito, that's Spanish. No, I don't. MC Per, sorry, a little. Do you miss Japan? And I mean, I know you were,
Oh yeah, I miss Japan a lot. I will be back there very soon. I'm putting that down as a calendar in my head to work towards. And I am still every day diligently working on Rosetta Stone to learn how to speak Japanese. And I can read most katakana and hiragana now, which is pretty impressive. Kanji is very difficult because it's borrowed from Chinese caricatures, and they're really complicated ones. But I am diligently working on it, and I would like to learn how to speak it fluently someday, but it is hard, man. I mean, the English alphabet's got 26 letters in it. Hiragana and katakana have 46 each, and that's not including the daktans and all the other. And then that's not including kanji, which has hundreds, maybe even thousands. So it's a fun challenge for me. But like I said, that's a goal of mine, is to be able to go back there again to fight and to pro wrestle and to learn more about the culture and speak the language. So I've been following a lot of what Arnold Schwarzenegger says for inspiration, motivation, is you got to set goals for yourself and try to set little deadlines for yourself, and little victories add up over time. You know what I mean? So I've upped my training and my diet working out with George King down in Tampa, Florida. So I'm looking forward to all the training and everything going forward with him, and coming back to Great North Wrestling and getting back with my MMA training and going out and training with Josh Barnett and just being a badass,
Well, all the best to you. We look forward to seeing you, particularly in mixed martial arts. You're dominating pro wrestling, as you mentioned. You're one hell of a talent. But I hope to see you in MMA. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Hai, arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
Mata ne.